Welcome to the international headquarters of Collabcert. We're just going to hang around for a couple of minutes, just as a few latecomers. So I just want to let you know that we are live and we'll get started in a minute or two. I noticed the picture's a bit grainy today. Reflects the weather in San Jose in California. Very misty grey day out there, grainy day out there as well. So I couldn't fix it in time. The irony of having a video collaboration guy presenting with crappy picture is not lost on me. We have Mike down here. Mike, he is the number two guy, my number two guy at Collabcert, and many of you know him. He's biz dev, sales, everything that's not techie. So I'm the techie guy, and Mike is everything else. He's kind of like my manager, my line manager. Pretty much true, isn't it, Mike? Mike is here to moderate the forum, not the forum, the chat window. So please feel free to enter any chat window, anything in the chat window throughout this, and we'll do our best to get back to you. Any questions that you have. Also, we go through the chat after the webinar, and so we'll always get back to you as well, probably one-to-one in an email at that point in time. But feel free to put anything in the chat. I'm going to be doing covering some technical stuff, so any questions that are relevant for what I'm talking about, put them in the chat window. I'll do my best to get back to you. Okay, it's 2 minutes past the hour. I think we'll begin. The numbers have stopped coming up. We had a big influx of people join, and that seems to have leveled off now. So let's get going. Alrighty, so I'm going to just share my screen here. TS and DIAG, troubleshooting and diagnostics. That's my main focus today, on covering some live technical information that's going to be very relevant. So I'm going to just provide a quick update on study, how you can use, where Collabcert is. And then I'm going to talk about a couple of diagnostic tickets. And then I'm going to wrap up. When I say wrap up, this is a long troubleshooting ticket. I was originally going to do 2 tickets, but this one ticket covers so much information. I backtracked a little bit there. So a couple of diagnostic tickets and a troubleshooting ticket. These aren't the exact tickets you're going to see in the CCIE Collab lab exam, of course, but it'll give you an idea. It's the type of questions they'd ask. Just to give you a quick update. The first bullet there, if you attended the last webinar, and many of you on this webinar did, I do have to apologize for providing misleading information. I know I gave off the whim, a bit of what I thought were realistic timelines, and many of you have been a little bit patiently waiting for me to provide the updates, liaising with Mike. It's all my fault. Blame me. Mike has done the better. We've had a few external conditions out there that has hampered my development. But ultimately, one of the big factors was I don't want to say my excuses are excuses, but this class I did in December, 2-week class, I totally underestimated the workload to prepare for that, to get all the racks built, the material, etc., etc. So I really had to abandon development in the middle of November to get ready for this class in December, which we sold out a little bit unexpectedly. And I am sure you can understand I had to prioritize that. And so that is one of the main factors behind the delay, other than some other external factors with the environment over here in California and where I'm doing my recordings. Anyway, enough excuses. We canceled the class in January. It wasn't sold out, obviously. And we've cleared the schedule to mid-Feb. My timelines are more realistic now. I don't have anything else on the calendar besides my family commitments, but my lab, my workbook lab, if you look at the second bullet there, the first lab, I it's in progress. I did a lab for the class, just wrapping up the solutions. I was hoping to get it out on Friday this week, MLK weekend and things going on. Probably going to be middle of next week. Jan 23rd is the date. I'm promising you it will be there. It will be out. So Workbook Lab 1, full solution PDF, and the actual lab as well will be out on Jan 23rd, which is next Wednesday, I think. In terms of the LMS videos, many of you, if you're on there, I'm uploading as I'm going along, recording, producing, etc., etc. You would have seen the contact center, the Unity Express, a huge, really big, complicated module about troubleshooting Cube, which is really caused me a lot of problems. Is going to be is next, but anything I do, I record it in the day. I'm producing it at night, getting it uploaded as soon as I can. So I'm envisaging that. I never say I'm never going to do a video again after February, but 95% of my videos should be done by February. And of course, as the year goes on, and I realize, maybe I need a video on this technology, I missed that, or I've got some erroneous information, then obviously I'm always going to add more videos. I'll give you an example of that. CMS, Cisco Meeting Server. I've completed a course on that, about two hours of video. I'm not sure exactly how much. But I realized I want to go back and modify and add a couple of new videos. So that kind of thing always happens. I'm always massaging my content, and believe it or not, I record erroneous content sometimes. It's inevitable. So I have to go back and many of you see my videos on DNS server when I've installed Chrome. I look like a complete idiot doing that. So maybe I'm going to delete that. But anyway, thank you for your patience and understanding. The next thing is sample diagnostic ticket number 1. Now, I've got these are taken from my troubleshooting and diagnostic class, which is my second week of class. I've got 2-week boot camp. The second week, we focus about half the week on diagnostic and troubleshooting. The first week, we focus maybe 4 days on configuration. I want to give people a bit of a heads up on diagnostic and troubleshooting in that first week as well. So that first week, my main focus of week 2 is this diagnostic and troubleshooting section. As a reminder, you get an hour for diagnostic. Sorry, let me go back. Let me backtrack. You get 2 hours for the troubleshooting section. You can be quicker than that if you want. You can take an extra half hour if you want. So you can 2.5 hours. If you spend 2.5 hours doing the troubleshooting, that's section 1, you will not have enough time for configuration. I'm pretty certain, 95% certain, that if you spend 2.5 hours, or if you spend 2 hours on troubleshooting, you're going to run out of time, because the configuration is you need all the time you can. So the troubleshooting section 1, I'm going to say an hour and a half will be a good time to do that. Diagnostics is section number 2. You have an hour. You have to use the hour. You can't just exit out. You can't, tap out like you can in the troubleshooting section. You can tap out of the troubleshooting section and you get the time for the configuration, right? Diagnostic, it's an hour. If you finish in 10 minutes, 50 minutes, you can either twiddle your thumbs, you can go get coffee, you can go to the restroom, you can do whatever you want to do in the testing center. But I recommend you start preparing some maybe iOS XE configs, or start trying to prepare some Postman calls that you remembered in Notepad++. Use that time wisely. So diagnostics should take you about half an hour, 45 minutes. You have a maximum of 1 hour. This is one ticket right now. Okay, I realize I talk a lot. So this is one ticket, and you have 5 tickets, 5 or 6 tickets, there or thereabouts. If in this case it's 2 points, so if every question was 2 points, there would be 5 tickets, because this is 10% of the exam. Diagnostics is 10%. So you'll have 5 tickets, or if you have 7 tickets, then obviously you'll have a few 1-pointers. If you have 10 tickets, they'll all be 1 point. So 10% of the exam is diagnostics. They don't publish, Cisco don't publish the passing score. They don't publish the minimum score, but it's in your interest. If you get, let's just say, 6 out of 10, you've dropped 4%, and now you need 80 in total. You can only drop 16 in other areas of the lab exam. I think it's 80 anyway, give or take. They haven't published that either, actually. but you want to collect as many points as you want. Don't just go and think you've got a passing score and move on. You've got to do your best, try and pick up all the points, because anything you drop here counts against you. You get dinged on that in terms of the entire score. Diagnostic ticket 1, phone 2. Okay, this is web-based, web delivery. My delivery right now is just a PDF. You'll get a web page where you'll be accessing all this information, and you'll have a place where you go to the next ticket. You can come back. So let's just say you didn't have a clue on this ticket. You can come back to go to the next ticket. You can always come back to this one. All right. Just because you click next doesn't mean you can't come back. So phone 2 is unable to register to the CME. CME is not in the configuration section because there's no physical routers, ISRs. So you can expect this in the troubleshooting or definitely the diagnostic section. So unable to register to the CME, but phone 1 can register to the CME. What is your next step to resolve the problem? Now, what I've missed here is please use the available resources to discover what the problem is. The available resources are down here. So I've got supplementary information regarding ticket 1. So again, this is all web delivery in the lab exam. So here there's a few options there, and only one option is going to be correct. What is your best next step? Don't resolve the problem. Although this question says to resolve the problem, I really should say, what should you tell the administrator that you're communicating with? What should you tell your customer? Right? You don't end up resolving the problem. There's not hands-on. Okay, so we've got a topology diagram. Now let's just recap. Phone 2 can't register, phone 1 can. So phone 2 is connected down here on VLAN 102 to switch 2. Phone 1 is connected on VLAN 101 to switch 1. So obviously we want to see a trunk carrying VLAN 102 here and a trunk to the CME router, okay, carrying VLAN 101 and 102. So phone 2 can't register, phone 1 can. Is that enough information? Can we fix the problem? Of course we can't. We don't know. There's got to be more information, right? Okay, so here we've got the CME DHCP configuration that's been provided to me by my fictitious customer or administrator that I'm working with. So if we take a look at the DHCP configuration, we can see that, okay, phone 1, the right subnet. Okay, we've got the IP addresses here, 102.0, 192.168.1.20, 192.168.1.10. So we seem to, with the excluded, we're not excluding all the ranges. The excluded addresses look good. We don't have 102.1 through 102.255, sorry. We have available addresses in the pool. The default gateway looks good. Default router. Okay, so for me, the DHCP looks good, and we don't have any bindings. So this is critical information. The fact that we don't have DHCP allocated to phone 2, there's nothing on the 102 network here. Okay, this means that it's nothing to do with the application level. It can't be anything to do with SIP, because if the phone hasn't got an IP address, then it can't pull down TFTP. It can't begin communications with SIP. So any CME configuration that I've got in here, by the way, there's the interfaces. The interfaces are live. They have the right encapsulation there with the right tag, being on 102, 101. The IP address is good, which matches the default gateway over here, 102.254, 102.254. Okay, so everything looks good so far. I haven't spotted an error. But I can narrow it down. I can narrow it down. It can't be SIP configuration, CME-based configuration. It can't be anything like that because the phone hasn't got an IP address. So I'm looking at VLANs. VLANs is important to me. I don't see any. I don't need helper address. No helper address is not required because it's a local DHCP. It's not that the router needs to receive the DHCP discover and forward it on to the DHCP server, because I am the DHCP server. So we're not a DHCP relay. So the helper address is not required anywhere. Now, this information is a distraction because I've already established it can't be SIP related, CME related. The phone hasn't got an IP address. So my next step is not going to be look at the CME config. Phone hasn't got an IP. So just skip over this. This is here as a red herring to distract me from where the real problem is. Okay. So And by the way, the phone configuration looks pretty good to me, but it's not my next step. Even if there was an error, even if I had erroneous configuration here, my next step would not be to correct the voice register configuration. Now we get to the switch configuration. Now, this is more likely. Switch 1 is working. Okay, the phone in switch 1 is working, phone 1. So I can see the phone there, I can see switch 2 there. And let's take a look at the trunk. Gig 1. Gig 1 is the uplink to the CME. Gig 24 is the link to the switch 2. So those two interfaces are provided, and they look good to me, because if I don't have a switch port trunk allowed VLAN command, then all VLANs are allowed. So a possible answer could have been maybe VLAN 102 is not being allowed. Sorry for going up and down a lot, but this is how you are in the lab, in the diagnostic section. You're always going back and forth. So VLAN 102, I thought maybe wasn't allowed on the trunk going up to the CME, which would stop phone 2 getting an IP address here if the .1Q trunk up to the CME was bad. But I can see that the trunk up to the CME and the trunk back down to switch 2 is allowing all VLANs. Let's go back down again. Okay, so the interface here, I've got all my VLANs are allowed. I'm not disallowing any VLANs. That's the default behavior. Same thing over here, the switch gig 24. Okay, this is actually an error there. That should be 24. All right, so VLAN, so far, can't find an error. It's coming soon, promise you. Okay, show CDP. Okay, CDP is enabled. Great, fine. Now, this is the erroneous switch. So the links up to from switch 2 to 1, switch 1 to CME are good. This is where the problem has to be. Something has to be here, because the phone connected here. Okay, the phone is on the right VLAN. This is the phone interface. I can see it's connected. Show CDP neighbor. I can see the phone is there. Okay, so it looks good to me. So far, so good. I can see here CDP version 2 advertisements, however you want to say that word, is not enabled. So this would, how does the phone learn its voice VLAN? The phone learns its voice VLAN using CDP version 2, which is my CDP media endpoint detection. So this switch here is going to be telling the phone, tag your layer 2 packets, your Ethernet packets, with a tag of 102, 802.1q, tag it with 102. We tell the phone this information using CDP version 2, which is not enabled. If I go to switch 1, it is enabled. So I think I found the problem. The phone is not being told that its VLAN it should use for voice packets is 102. The phone is not learning this information. The command is on there, but it's not doing anything. So really, in effect, the phone traffic is not coming in on VLAN 102. Okay, now let's look at the answers. Add VLAN 101 to the config. I don't need VLAN 101 configuration in there. Modify, there it is. Modify CDP configuration on switch 2. ITL file, well, let's just rule out all the others as well. ITL file, this means that the phone is trying to download a TFTP configuration file. Okay, it only trusts certain entities. Well, the phone hasn't got an IP, so it's not even beginning to do a TFTP get. RMA the phone, well, there's a freebie there. You see, I put a little smiley face there for you, which means I can rule that out straight away. Reload the CME router. Okay, well, no. Licensing on VCube, I don't think you don't need any licensing. I've got Max Pool 1, Max Pool 2, whatever. In any case, the phone hasn't got a DHCP. Modify the switch CDP on switch 1. No, that was fine. CDP was working. Version 2 is enabled there. There is enough information, so you can rule out H. So without any shadow of a doubt, the answer here is option B. That's the first ticket. Very technical. I did see an email. Everyone, Mike, you can hear me okay? There were some people saying that they couldn't hear me. And I was a bit distracted midway. Give me anyone on the chat window. Just give me
I took care of that issue.
Okay. You guys, did you follow the ticket 1? Any questions on ticket 1 before I close that chapter and move on to the second ticket? Just making sure that no one had any outstanding questions here. Now, the time obviously it takes to digest that information. It was a simple fix in the end, but you're looking at a lot of different knowledge on the campus infrastructure side of things, DHCP, VLAN, before you get to the right information. And it does take time. The time allocated for that ticket will be 20 minutes to digest everything and fix it. 20 minutes. Okay. I probably would suggest you can try and fix that in about 10 minutes. In any case, if it takes more than 20 minutes, move on to the next one. All right. Should we go to the second ticket, Mike? Did you learn anything there, Mike?
Yes, I'm not very technical when it comes to this stuff, so
okay.
I'll continue.
All right. Let's go to the second ticket. I'm going to share my screen again. And the second ticket, if I go down all the way to all the information here. Okay, sample diagnostic ticket number 2. Your networking team is trying to make calls from the HQ UCM cluster to the backbone through a vCube. The backbone client rings, so the backbone client being my Jabber probably. It rings, but on answer, the call drops. So now we can immediately think it's got to be codec. Has to be codec related, right? The invite must be good. The phone's ringing. That's what I'm thinking about right now. What can you determine from the information provided? Okay, let's look at the information. Here's a topology. We've got a Jabber on the left-hand side there in headquarters, or a phone, core manager cluster, coming into a cube, going out to a backbone, probably core manager there as well, and a Jabber client. So, topologies there. Now, take a look at the IP addresses. Okay, I'm probably missing an IP. The cube's got two IPs here. One's on the 192.102 network. I should have provided that information. So I've got an internal and an external interface. So look at the core manager IP addresses, 11 and 12. Okay, and by the way, I know the IP addresses better than you do, so I'm just take my word for it. I don't want to keep scrolling up to that diagram. So received invite. This is my vCube. I'm receiving an invite. It's coming from, look at the from there, and also the via. That's telling me who is sourcing the traffic. Where did this invite come from? This is coming from the core manager at HQ. And it's going to, well, this is my internal interface. This is coming into the cube, vCube. So there's a zip trunk on core manager pouring to my internal interface on the vCube. It's coming in, the number looks good. Well, the number's got to be right because the phone rings, right? So the number's not really important. Are we using early offer or delay offer? Are we talking codecs? Are we sending out codecs from the core manager? Content length equals 0, so that we're using a delay offer. There is no codecs coming in, so we're using delay offer, which means I'm looking at the 200 OK. When I answer, the backbone will be sending me their codec, and it's up to me to respond, me being the cube. Okay, so here's where we send the invite. The invite is going to the backbone IP address, the 157 address over here. This is the backbone. And we have obviously changed the via to be my external IP address on the cube. We get a trying from the backbone. We get a ringing from the backbone. And then things are going to get interesting now because we established the phone was ringing already. That was given to us in the information. So this, in effect, the only important information I've provided to you so far was we're using delay offer, not early offer. So now we start talking codecs. Receive 200 OK to see where this 200 OK came from. Because remember, this from and to is with respect to the invite message. This is from and to from the invite. So in effect, don't look at the from. This didn't come from this IP address. It's coming from this IP address. The to field is telling me where this 200 OK is coming from. It's coming, this is received anyway, received from the backbone cluster. The backbone cluster, this is our 200 OK. This is going to be our SDP offer. And if you look here, the SDP is there, and we can see a ton of codecs. We're supporting G722, we're supporting G7U-Law, A-Law, G729, we've got some DTMF 101 there. So we're supporting every codec under the sun, basically, right? So Opus is a new codec, so we're supporting that as well. So we're offering, when I say we, the backbone is offering me, the cube, a ton of different codecs. So what do we send back? This is where I'm thinking the problem is going to be. We send back an ACK, but I should have SDP content here. And this is an ACK going back to the backbone. This is not a response, right? An ACK is going to the backbone from the cube. So we send back an ACK. This is my SDP answer. The offer was just there with every codec under the sun. We're sending back an ACK, no codecs. And then we have an immediate buy, core 65, and a not implemented going back to the core manager. So I need to find out what codecs are being supported on the cube. How do I know? How do I know what codecs? Maybe there's no codecs being supported here. So let's take a look at the possible answers. You need to see how the cube dial pairs are configured. Very strong possibility that this is correct. Okay, absolutely. I need to see what is the codec, what is the voice class codec provisioned in the dial pairs. You need to see how the UCM SIP trunk is configured. Not really, because the call comes in fine from this UCM. I never send back the 200 OK to the core manager, and the core manager doesn't fail the call. The cube is failing the call. Core manager doesn't fail the call. If I send the 200 OK back to core manager, and the core manager send me a buy, then that may be a possible explanation, a possible next step. You need to see how the backbone provider trunk is configured. Not really. The 200 OK tells me everything how it's configured. Okay, he's accepting the call, 200 OK, told me the codecs. So the backbone trunk's fine. The connectivity's got to be good. Otherwise, how on earth did I get the invite coming in? There's connectivity to the backbone. Otherwise, how on earth did I get my 200 OK? Those are just distractions. There is not enough information provided. No, there is enough information. The SIP trace, the debug CC SIP messages tells me everything I need to know. I need to know what is the codec being supported on the vCube. So option A is the right answer. Okay, enthralling. Okay, those are two examples. Pretty heavy, I know. Pretty heavy examples, but gives you an idea of the kind of activity you'll be doing when you're in the diagnostic section. I'm going to just pay attention to this chat window right now. Make sure there's nothing in there. Yes, the CDP on switch 2. CDP version. I've got a question here in the chat window. So problem was phone 2 didn't learn the VLAN from CDP on switch 1. No, switch 2. On the previous ticket, the switch 2, where the erroneous phone was connected, had CDP version 2 disabled, and that's how the phone wasn't learning VLAN 102. Hopefully that clarifies that. And I think Dimitro went on there and told me it was switch 2. Thank you very much. And I think we're good. I think everything is resolved. There's no outstanding issues. Any problems on ticket 2, diagnostic ticket 2? Now is your time to chat. I'm looking on the chat window. Mike is as well. I'm going to move on to this troubleshooting ticket. If you have no outstanding concerns on that second ticket, okay. All right. So it looks like we are. Okay, now this is a really good question here. The question says, what kind of misconfiguration should we expect on dial pair for ticket 2? That is not part of this diagnostic. That would be like a troubleshooting ticket where I would go in there and have like an incorrect codec that wasn't being advertised from the backbone. So look at that list of codecs. I think I said all the codecs under the sun. There's got to be a codec that is not in there that I'm supporting on the dial pair. I probably put some really old codec G723 or something like that to generate this. So that will be the kind of problem in the dial pit, but that's not my responsibility. That's not what you should be thinking right now, because your resolution is, or your next step is, ask the administrator for dial pit configuration. You're not going to try and fix this. Okay, just give me a next step, a plausible next step that would make sense. So it's subtle, right? You're not going to have any possibility to fix it. You're not even going to see the dial pit. You're going to see exactly what I just showed you. That you won't see the information that will, well, not necessarily. You wouldn't see the information that will be used that you can fix the problem. Okay, you're not trying to fix the problem. Okay. Alrighty, I'm going to go to. So by the way, I'm just as a bit of a breather, both for me and for you, probably, definitely for Mike. I've done one diagnostic and troubleshooting class back in December. Remember, I was making excuses for how late I am on all my delivery. So in that class, in the second week, I had these diagnostic tickets. I've got about 20 odd diagnostic tickets, and everyone did the diagnostic tickets. And I've got a web page, and then I get the scores emailed to me, and Mike does as well, by the way, so we can see how you're doing. And everyone got 0 or 20%. I thought, oh my goodness me, this is terrible. And then they all, well, as I went through the answers in the afternoon, I went through the answers and saying, okay, let's discuss. Basically, what I did right now on those 2 tickets is what I do in this class, but I do it obviously in person or online. And then it's more collaborative. It's more two-way. So you talk to me more and I talk back, and we discuss it. It was mass arguments. It was, I was fearing for my life at some stages. Well, no, that's wrong, and this is wrong information. So, and this is just my perspective and what I think, my knowledge. I've tried to sanitize it. Once in a while, I did have an error. You will see, I did have an error. I had some wrong information provided, and I was wrong, but I corrected that and fixed it. But the amount of discussion these diagnostic tickets promoted was very, it was very, what's the word I'm looking for? It was aggressive, but it was very good because everyone got better at doing it, and including myself. It was a really eye-opening experience going through these diagnostic tickets. Okay, so and so my second week of class is me giving you the tickets and some troubleshooting tickets. In the afternoon, we go through them one by one, like I just did. Okay, Mike.
With that, Vic, there's people that are in here going through the online classes. That's something that you might not get going. We're offering online classes now too. It's going to be something new. We're going to give it a try here in February. But you're going to miss out on a lot of that part of things by not visiting Vic in person. So that's why we're always going to push you to go to the live class, because of those conversations that Vic just talked about. Correct?
Yeah, I think from my perspective, I hate doing online classes, to be honest. But I'll get used to them more and more. But if you're sat right there, those are the seats that I use in our classroom right behind me. I think nothing can beat that. Nothing can beat that, because we can go back and forth in face-to-face, whiteboard, and you can have an hour with me if there's more explanation required. But at the same time, we realize that it's expensive. You may not have the budget for it, and it's from a family perspective as well. So that's why we are offering the online. That's in trial. I'm also very aware that there's a lot of people out there trying to pirate everything I do. So that's all. I will be realistic in there, and that is a concern. But that's just part and parcel of the way business is done these days. So I'm going to trial the online. We're going to see how it goes, and then we'll make we'll try and look at the feedback on that. So yes, February is the first one. We've got more later on, but nothing could beat this being right there. Okay, when I can actually, you can shout at me, I can shout at you, and I can see you. You can. Hopefully, we don't have physical contact, physical abuse, but that's also an option if you want. So, okay, thanks, Mike, for clarifying that. We haven't fully decided the platform. WebEx obviously makes sense because it's going to be a smaller number. Webinar Jam, we've got a lot of people on here right now, and so WebEx, I don't want to pay for the license, and I like this application here for the webinar. I haven't fully decided what we're going to do. It's either going to be WebEx, Zoom, as a swear word in the world of Cisco, or it's going to be Webinar Jam. I'm going to trial that out and make a decision the week before and let you know. So all options are open, but it'll be one of those three platforms: WebEx, Zoom, or Webinar Jam. Okay. Alrighty, ladies and gents, I'm going to do a troubleshooting ticket. This is the real deal here. It's going to take me about 20 minutes. I'll pause halfway through and check the chat window. Any questions, put them in the chat as I'm going along, and I'll pause halfway through. This is not for the faint of heart, and this is, so let me just give you a bit of background. The troubleshooting tickets, we do have to resolve it. It is hands-on. I don't get traces provided to me. I have to collect those traces. I need to know what debug commands to run and where to look, and do I need to go to RTMT, Translator X, and whatever. So I need to leave each ticket with a working solution within, here's the critical part, within the confines or the restrictions they provided me, the parameters that they provided to me. For example, if I've got a phone registered and a SIP trunk created and a bunch of dial pairs for calls going out through a cube to a backbone, which is my ticket right now, then I can't delete the trunk. I can't delete the dial pair. I can't delete the phone and re-add it. Often what happens is, if I have a troubleshooting ticket, everyone can fix the ticket by deleting everything I've done and just doing it from scratch in your way that you're comfortable. That is not on the table. You will not get the points for that. There will be some verbiage around that will tell you, but you have to operate within the confines of what they provided. So if there's a trunk there, if there's dial pairs, if there's translations and whatnot, everything inside the cube, you can't delete that stuff. You've got to use that. Okay. I think there's a question here. How do I convince my wife to take your course in your office for 2 weeks? Well, we'll come back to that one. Okay, that's a great question. So we'll come back to that. Let me get to the ticket because I'm anxious of trying to finish by the top of the hour. I don't want to take more than an hour of your time. So we'll come back to that one. But it did make me chuckle. Okay. At this point in time, you should see a remote desktop session into okay. I will come back because I realized I did not show you the ticket. Let's look at the ticket. Troubleshooting ticket is down here, and there's no information with the ticket. It's just the question, just the actual troubleshooting ticket itself. Okay, sample troubleshooting ticket number 1. When users at the backbone PC call 1408, this number, which is the HQ phone number. So this is a call coming in. Sorry, I'll come back to that diagram in a second. A call coming in from the backbone into the HQ phone, into the phone should work, basically. Okay, should work. It's not working. That's in a nutshell what the ticket is. Calls, direct to dial calls from the backbone site into the vCube, into the to the core manager environment, to the phone, are not working. I've got to fix this. When you fix this ticket, inbound calls from backbone PC, Jabber line 1, to HQ phone 1, i.e. that number there, should work. So inbound calls are failing. Now, I've got my backbone PC. Let's just I'm going to turn my screenshot on. Okay, everyone's got the ticket. Inbound calls from the backbone. Now, I've got my backbone PC on another machine. I'm not going to show you my backbone. It's just a Java client. I'm going to press dial. I'm just going to be dialing, and the call's coming into the VQ. All right, so what you're going to see is my HQ PC, and here I have, let me do that right now. Okay, here I've got my VCube, I've got my call manager. Let's take a look at what's going on. Now, this call is going to be coming in using SIP. So I'm going to do a debug CC SIP messages. Turn them on, and so I have no idea what's going to happen. Let's make this call. I'm going to look in that direction and call from my backbone PC. I'm not sure if you heard that, the annunciator just telling me this call fails. So now let's go through this trace. I'm going to do a copy all to clipboard. And I've got Notepad++ here. And then in Notepad++, let's analyze the debug CC SIP messages. So I'm receiving an invite. It's coming in. The calling number is not really too important to me. The called number is 408-202-2001. And it's coming in to this is the VCube IP address, external IP address. Okay, so 26.1.250. If I just go on here, do a show IP interface brief. Well, inside here, I've got some redundancy going on. This is the IP address on the external side of the cube. Okay, so this is coming in from the backbone to the cube, and the number is a 10-digit number. All right. Then I send back a trying, and then I send the invite. Where do I send the invite? I send the invite, so from the VCube, hang on, the invite is going back out to the backbone. So I'm really hairpinning this call. The call's coming in from the backbone, and I'm sending it back out to the backbone. Not very good. Okay, we'll take a look at that, but good information to remember. This is a problem, right? And then obviously the backbone. Now the backbone's telling me, what? I just sent you this call. 404 not found. Okay, so we shouldn't even be sending this call to the backbone. We've got to be sending it up to the call manager, right, where the HQ phone exists, right? So we've got some problems with our dial pairs. So the next step would be, I'm going to let's come back. Show run section dial pair. Now I've only got 2 dial pairs. Okay, those are my 2 dial pairs. We need to figure out which is my incoming dial pair. Okay, which will be the incoming dial pair? Well, the knowledge you need here is, how is inbound dial pair matching done in iOS XE? And we're all familiar with incoming call lead number as being the top priority. In the later versions of iOS, and definitely iOS XE, incoming URI is the highest priority and supersedes incoming called number. So I can see that there's no incoming there, but I see this incoming URI via. So I'm looking at the via header, and that is the top priority for inbound dial pair matching. The number one thing that will be checked on an inbound dial pair match is any dial pair that has an incoming URI statement, and in the incoming URI statement, we can look at the via, the from, the to, the request URI, which is the top line of the SIP. And the via header is the number one priority. So incoming URI via is the number one thing for inbound dial pair matching, and we're using this voice class URI 2. Let's take a look at that. Show voice class URI 2. And we're saying the IP address 157.26.110. Let's take a look at that invite there. Invite, received invite, looking at the VIA header, and the VIA header matches that. So I'm pretty sure, and I can use the debug VoIP CCAPI if I want in out for that, but I don't need to right now because I'm 100% confident that dial pair 1 is my inbound dial pair because the VIA header matches this IP address there, and incoming URI is the top priority. So this will be my inbound dial pair. This IP, due to the fact that the VIA header matches this IP. Now let's look at the outbound dial pair. The outbound dial pair selection. The number one thing for outbound dial pair selection is the dial pair group, destination dial pair group, which is configured on the inbound dial pair. So a call's coming in on dial pair 1. It doesn't really matter what the number is. I've hard-coded any call that matched this as the inbound dial pair to use dial pair group 1 as the outbound dial pair. Dial pair group 1 as the outbound dial pair. I'm not using destination pattern, destination E164 pattern, which is what I'm probably used to, but historically what I'm using, I'm not using that because the DPG, dial pair group, on the inbound dial pair is the number one thing to select the outbound dial pair. So dial pair group 1, let's take a look at that. Show voice class DPG1. DPG1 has dial pair 1 in it. That's convenient for me. So dial pair group 1 has dial pair 1. And obviously we can have 10 different dial pairs. This would be a way of saying calls from the backbone, this is always your outbound dial pair. And we can have multiple dial pairs without having to have preference, multiple egress dial pairs using preferences. We can do that in a different way as well. So let me backtrack a little bit there. This is erroneous. This is the cause of why we're going out through to the backbone again. Surely the calls coming in from this dial pair using incoming URI, the outbound dial pair should probably be this one, dial pair 2, because I'm going to guess session server group 1. This should probably be my outbound dial pair. Let's take a look, because 100% sure the fact that server group 2, show voice class server group 2. Server group 2 is the backbone. So the calls coming in, incoming URI, we have destination DPG1, which contains dial pair 1, which is this dial pair. Then we send the call to server group 2. Server group 2 is the backbone. So this is how I'm hairpinning the call. I'm using, let's take a look at server group 1. Server group 1 has an internal IP address. This is my HQ SME. This is my core manager environment. So I should be using server group 1 as my destination. So let me go back down here. Server group 1 is configured in this dial pair. So I really want to use dial pair 2 as my dial pair. Destination DPG maybe 2. Let's take a look at that. Show voice class DPG2. Oh yeah, DPG2 contains dial pair 2. So I need to, at this point in time, then flip that to say that once we've, my apologies. Once we've got our incoming URI, we've matched the inbound dial pair, we set the codec, we've set the DTMF, we've turned off VAD. Now let's select an app. Oh, by the way, we've got a translation to add plus. I'm assuming that's going to be working. We can check that as well if we want. But then we're saying the outbound dial pair should be this guy because that has the right server group to take the call to the SME. So I'm going to put destination DPG2 in that dial pair. Now I'm going to make the call again. And the call still failed. I'm not sure if you heard what I heard there, the enunciator coming into play. So let's go back out here. Notepad++, our best friend in the lab. besides the proctor. Okay, we've got the invite coming in again. Fine. We had that before. We send the trying. Now we send the invite. Oh, did I make a mistake there? Let's... Yeah, I didn't actually apply my change. My bad. Let me come back to that. DPG 2. Did I change the server group? What did I do there? I lost focus. That's what I did. I made the wrong change. What did I change? Sorry. This is I made the wrong change. I changed the server group. Let me put that back. Why was I changing the server group? All right, let's go back. Okay. Server group 2. It should be DPG 2. All right. That may have thrown you off course for a little while. Hopefully, I've rectified that. Call comes in. We select that as the outbound dial pair, which is now dial pair group 2, which contains dial pair 2. Let's make the call again. And clear the scroll back. And make this call. Fast busy this time, so slightly different. And rather than going to Notepad++, let me just do it live on the PuTTY session here. So we've got the invite coming in, as we did before. We're sending the invite now to the SME. Okay, so that threw me off course for a little while there. So at least we're sending the call not back out to the backbone, back to the up to the SME, and the SME should be able to handle it now. So what's the problem? What's the problem with that? Now the SME is telling us we're receiving a 503 service unavailable, and the source of this SME always the to field, because it's a response. The from and the to are with respect to this invite method. The to field is where my source is. The SME is sending me 503 service unavailable. This typically means the IP address is not defined. I don't know who you are. You're trying to make a call to me, but I don't know who you are. Take a 503 service unavailable, please. Okay? So I need to make sure that the IP address here, see this IP address, is defined inside the SME as a SIP trunk, and that SIP trunk must be reset. So let's go and look inside the SME. Take a look at my SIP trunks. There's my VCube. And there it is there. Looks good, right? Looks good. Where's the from here? We're sourcing our traffic from, via or from 192.102.64.250. 192, oh, there's an error there. Look. Let's put 102 there. So check the port number, 5060, fine, good. Let's okay that. And then we reset. All right, let's go back and make that call again. Again, you can't see my backbone PC, but I've got it next to me on a machine right over here. Okay, still. So I've fixed two things now. I fixed the DPG and I fixed the IP address on the SIP trunk. Let's see if we got the same information. Okay, slightly different this time. We've got a received from the SME, but now it's not a 503, it's a 404 not found. Now this 404 not found has a QA, a course code of 1, which is unallocated number. So what this means is the SME is now knows about this IP address. Otherwise, that would have been a 503 service unavailable. We know about this IP address. I know who you are, but I can't route this call. I can't route +1 408 202 anywhere. Well, is that a valid number? Let me go to route plan report. Yeah, I have a number there, +1 408 202. Oh, but this is a learned number using ILS and global dial plan replication. Well, that's in partition. I need to have a calling search space. Is there a calling search space there? What is the calling search space that sees those learned numbers? There's only one calling search space. Oh, it has all the learned numbers in there. I think we're good beyond the hour. Okay, the V-cube. Does the V-cube have a calling search space? No, no calling search space. We can apply this on the device pool, or we can apply it on the zip trunk. Clearly, I need to apply it somewhere. Let's just put it on the zip trunk. Reset the zip trunk again. Alrighty, and now let me go to my backbone and make the call inbound again. Okay, there is the phone, and I don't know if you can hear, but I can. I'm not sure why my phone view is not working. Okay, and I just didn't. It tried to go to voicemail. I can make that call in again. Let's call in again here. That's not refreshing for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. I turn automatic screenshots off. Let's try it again. But anyway, I've answered the call. If I go on the cube, show VoIP RTP connections. You can see the call there. Show call active voice compact. The call is there. Show call active voice brief. Pipe include PID, as in dial pair ID. I can see the dial pair. Inbound, the answer is the inbound dial pair 1. The originate is dial pair 2. Inbound dial pair 1, going to outbound dial pair 2 due to the destination DPG2, remember? And the call is active. We're using G711 ULAW. Everything is good. The only thing is, I probably have to close down my phone view and launch it again. But normally this works like a charm. I've had it open for about 3 weeks. That's probably why. Anyway, I know I said I was going to pause halfway through that. I didn't. I got in a flow. And that would be one troubleshooting ticket with that amount of tracing, analysis. Not one problem. There were 3 problems. There was the DPG. There was the IP address, fat-fingered in the trunk. There was the lack of calling search space. Okay, that was a 3-point troubleshooting ticket. Pretty overwhelming, pretty difficult, under pressure, and you should fix those in about 15 minutes. One of those, that should be fixed in 15 minutes. What you can't do is delete those dial pairs, delete the trunks, and just do it your own way. You have to conform to the way that they're doing it. That is all I'm going to do on a technical side of things right now. And I'm happy to stick around. The idea of this was to give you an idea of the diagnostic section and the troubleshooting section. And that's been a bit of a mystery for a lot of people out there. Hopefully this has shed some light on the types of activities you'll be performing in those 2 sections. Alrighty, and obviously my week 2 of class and towards the latter part of my week 1 of class, I had to put my volume on because my backbone PC was there. Hence my wife's calling me. What's she calling me for? And that's it. That hopefully gives you a good idea. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we're sticking around. Me and Mike will stick around for a couple of minutes to take any questions. I'll go through the chat window and get back to you right now. But if you have anything you want to talk to us about, specifically on these tickets I talked about, by all means, now's your time. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hopefully you gained something from it, and we'll be putting this on YouTube, or it'll be on the webinar jam using a link. We haven't fully decided, but we'll advertise where it's done so you can go back and watch the recording. Thanks a lot, guys. Although I'm disappearing, I'm still here, by the way.
Hey, Vic. I answered Frank offline here, but for the online class, most likely after 9 a.m. Pacific time, correct?
It depends. I can get leeway If everyone is on the Eastern time zone, I'm the only one in Pacific, then I will not work my hours. I'll work your hours. But if I've got a scattered group, some people in the Pacific time zone, some people in Asia, some people, I'm going to probably just find a happy medium somewhere. I'm probably going to be more like, 10 Pacific, running a bit later on. So I'm happy because we haven't done one before. I'm happy to be flexible. You'll have to ask my wife that she has to drop the kids off in the morning to school. That'll be your job. But I will conform and be sensitive to other people's time zones. But what I expect is to be a bit of a mishmash with time zones, and so I'm probably looking at 10 o'clock Pacific every day. And by the way, I am not lecturing all day. You have your tickets. I'll have a window of time where everyone has to watch and join me for Q&A, but then the rest of the time it's going to be a lot of it's one-to-one. So if it is at 10 p.m. at night my time and I've gone home, I'll have a link that's active, that I'll get notification. I'll be available online for support. But there'll be a 2-3 hour window where I will cover technical content that everyone has to join, and that will be, I'll try and be sensitive to other people's time zones. Okay.
Nardos had a question here about rack rental.
A rack rental, we're going to start offering rack rental in about probably 1st of Feb. I've got all my racks ready. I have them all allocated already in beta. I have 4 people using my racks. Actually, the guys, some of the guys who are in my class, I got their feedback, and they're using that. And probably 1st of Feb is when we start offering rack rentals. We've had a lot of issues with the racks. When I run my scripts to revert them, some of the snapshots are erroneous. So I want to get those out of the way before I start having that as a commercial offering. So I've had a lot more than I expected. But yeah, we obviously, we've got 8 racks right now, and we do want to rent them out whenever we're not teaching a class. So definitely, as soon as I can, as soon as we want it, as soon as possible. There's a question here. I spoke out of turn there, 15 minutes. You have 2 hours for the troubleshooting section. And so I would allocate maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20, maybe even 25 minutes for that ticket to be fixed, because it's 2 hours. But you really want to do it as quickly as possible. So I'd say max 20 minutes, target 15 minutes. Won't be any quicker than that. You won't be able to fix these tickets in 2 minutes. There'll be a number of things that you'll have to do. And then once you fix one, you think you're over the hump, there's another problem just right around the corner. Okay, so that each ticket has multiple problems. Okay, some tickets you'll fix quicker than others, but yeah, you're not going to fix anything quicker than 10 minutes. It's going to be target 15, maximum 20, 25. Okay, so I thought to myself, and there's about 6, 7, 8 tickets. I can't tell you the exact number of tickets, but in that ballpark.
Self-study. Do you think it would be enough to pass the lab on its own?
I think I answered the question about the number of tickets already. In terms of self-study, if you have to supplement self-study, the videos, the workbook, with hands-on, you need to do it. You need access to a rack. You may need a little bit of mentoring and Googling stuff around here, but yes, absolutely. I want people to be able to pass the lab using self-study materials as much as possible, yes. The thing about a class is that it expedites a lot of learning. It compresses it into a small period of time. I think the beauty of the class is you gain 3-6 months of studying in isolation. You're away from your family. You're in the classroom here. You're not getting distracted. It's intense learning that you can't replicate anywhere else, and it compresses it. So maybe you'll achieve, for those who are lucky enough to come to the class, probably can achieve the goal quicker. But with self-study, yes, you probably end up struggling a little bit more by yourself. Whereas here in the classroom, if you're struggling for more than 10 minutes, put your hand up. I'll come over and tell you how to fix it, or at least give you some tips and hints on where you can go. That luxury does not exist when you're doing self-study. I mean, I try and do my best answering questions, but you're looking at 24, 48-hour turnaround. So if I'm in a class, it'll be longer than that. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, I think we'll call it a day, and if there is anything else, you have our email address. Okay, there are some more questions. I'll revoke that. Let's Control Z, and let's just take a look at that. Can you skip some troubleshooting tickets and then come back to them? Very good question. Yes, you can. You can see all the tickets. If you have no clue on one ticket, you want to put that to one side and come back to it. Click on the next button, go to the next ticket, attempt those tickets, and you can always come back. There is an end section button when you're done. When you click that end section button, you're done. You can't come back to the troubleshooting. That will take you into the diagnostic section. Okay, so yeah, you can go previous question, previous ticket, next ticket, so on and so forth. When you're happy, you've achieved the maximum you can, end section, that period of time remaining, whoops, sorry, hit the microphone there. The period of time remaining between the time you hit end section and 2 hours is given to you in the configuration section. So if you finish the troubleshooting section in an hour and a half, you've got half an hour extra time in the config section, 5.5 hours. Yes, you can come back, just like in the diagnostics, you can come back. When you end section, you're done. Yes, I mean, are there any troubleshooting tickets with expressways, MRA? These things here, absolutely. Anything on the blueprint can be in any section. But the one I will say cannot be in the config section is the CME, because there's no CME. There's no virtual CME that's publicly available right now. So the one thing that will only be in the diagnostic section is the CME. I'm going to be module about that in my learning, my LMS, but there will be no actual lab with the CME in it. Things that are probably very heavily tested in the config section, they will probably weight that. Again, I'm not an official source. They will probably weight that less in the other section. So if there's 10 points on contact center, there isn't 10 points on contact center. But if there was 10 points in contact center, they probably wouldn't ask anything in the other two sections, because there's been a lot of weight allocated to CCX in the config section. That'll be an example. I absolutely think MRA and CMS are, obviously, let's be honest, in today, 2019, I think it is. It's 2019? Yeah, it is. MRA, CMS, these are two of the more recent products out there. So you've got to focus very, very intensely on MRA, BTB dialing, turn server, CMS, and everything in those products. Very, very, very important for you. All right. How do you know if you're ready to take a course like yours? Struggling with confidence. That's why I ask. Go through my workbook lab, go through my videos. If you get it, you're ready. If you get most of it, you're ready. If you get none of it, this is completely over the top, don't come to my class. It'll be a waste of your time. Mike's probably thinking, no, we want those people for. So I don't want you to come to my class and not get maximum bang for your buck. So that's the purpose of the LMS. At the moment, I've probably got about 25 hours of recording, 20 hours recording, something in that ballpark. If you go through all that content, and I've got labs in there, if you can get that information, you understand it, you comprehend it, and maybe you're just missing little bits and pieces. Maybe you're missing speed, obviously, strategy. Those things are obviously not going to be there day one. you're ready for my class. If you're going through that and you just haven't got a clue what I'm saying in any of the videos, especially the core manager, the routing of the core manager, route patterns, calling search spaces, the fundamentals there, dial pairs. My ticket here had a lot of the new stuff in dial pairs. But if you don't know what an inbound dial pair does, an outbound dial pair, session target, and all that stuff, you don't get core manager routing and SIP trunks, how you add a trunk, how you add an end user, device association to an end user, IMP. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you probably need to wait. Don't come to the class. Understand that material first, because my class, we hit the ground running. It's pretty advanced material, and I try and cater for different levels, but I need a base level.
And you can split the classes up. So, and that's what we do in splitting the classes up. So, you might not be ready to sit the lab exam yet, but you can still sit the first week of class. In fact, we kind of encourage that route, right, Vik?
Yeah,
back, you know.
I think if possible, 2 weeks in a classroom back to back is tough. Got to keep fresh. I always urge people, don't come in the weekend and kill yourself. Take your time over, take a bit of time off, because I see a lot of fatigue in week 2. This kind of stuff we're not looking at, Super Bowl or Liverpool Football Club play soccer or anything really, really fantastic. We're looking at pretty dry technical information, and after 2 weeks, you get fatigue, you get tired. So if you're really, really prepared, you'll be fine. If your level of preparedness is really good, doing the 2 weeks is fine. What you could do is, if you're thinking you're at a level where you want to get a head start, you want to compress a lot of the learning in, you get a lot of the videos, what I've been doing, do the week 1, but keep that week 2 in your pocket, come back after about 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, something in that ballpark, and come back when you're way more advanced, when you're maybe 1 or 2 weeks before sitting the lab. Then we'll go through the troubleshooting diagnostic more intensely, and more importantly, we'll do the whole day experience. We'll come in at 8:30, give you the troubleshooting tickets, do the diagnostic tickets, do a 5-hour lab, do the whole lab experience in one day. That's what the week 2 is about. That's a bit too soon if you're still digesting the concept. So Mike's right. Most people better off splitting it. But some people, if the level of preparedness is really high, can get along with 2 weeks back to back. I see a question there about the retake policy. The retake policy is $1,000 a week, in a nutshell. Okay, so I buy you lunch every day. I'll take you out for dinner. I've got a bit of cost here. I've got racks. You're taking my time, but I understand that you paid for a class. I want to give you a good heavy discount. So it's $1,000 a week. Okay, unless there's prior agreement that you got from Mike when you purchased it, and you've negotiated with Mike because maybe you bundled in a lot of rack time and you paid you paid probably a full price with no discount. Mike will probably do you a deal on the retake at his discretion, but that's our flat rate on the retake. Okay, is there a chance for a UK class? Well, we'll see what happens with Brexit, right? Who knows if your Europeans can get into the UK anymore, right? Brexit, I would, Mike, UK class. We decided Dubai was a better option because a lot of Europeans can go there. We're open to it. If I get a minimum number of seats in the UK, of course, my mother lives there, my family, my friends are there. I would love to do a UK class, but I struggled to get any people showing up at the UK class. So this is why we moved it to Dubai. So, but we're open to it. Maybe we'll put one in later in the year, but no promises. If you can arrange a location and get me 5 people, I'll come anywhere. I'll come to Germany. All right. So absolutely, we're open to do it anywhere. But we have prioritized Dubai as our external location, and we're going to see how that goes. And if you feel like there's enough demand somewhere, we'll put one in the diary. And if we don't get any people register, then we'll take it off and won't never go there again.
Where can we get your workbooks and videos? Steve, I can talk to you offline about that. I think we've got a couple emails back and forth in regards to that. Subtitles. Vik?
So that's I've seen that a couple of times. I'll put my I'm trying to do all the recordings. When I've done all the recordings, I'll add the subtitles. Okay, we're just so I apologize for not doing that. I had on my radar, but the time to produce it really adds a lot of time, and I'm eager to get the videos up there. When I'm up there, when I'm done, I'll get someone to do the subtitles, and then we'll add that in there. Yeah. Liverpool, I've got a question. Liverpool, yeah. We don't really like Manchester United fans coming into the class because I'm a big Liverpool fan, but if anyone's a Manchester United fan, we need a special permission. I'm just kidding, obviously.
Pricing is different for Man U fans.
There's just a long rivalry there.
Germany.
Okay? I think are we good there?
I think so. Let's see. I'm just scrolling back through, make sure we have everything. All right.
Okay.
Anything else? Last second questions? Anybody? We're still trying to answer your question, Joel, if you're still here, about convincing your wife. That one is
well, convincing your wife means that your study cycle will be shorter. If you come to the class, you tell her you're going to be studying for. If you don't get out of family commitments and get away, you're going to be studying for years, 2 years before you get done. Whereas you come to the class, 3 months, three months done. Okay, with a bit of studying at home, studying afterwards, 3 or 4 months. Get it compress the time. That's what you're going to tell the missus.
Then you can spend it.
All righty, guys, let's call it a day. It's dragging on here.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.